Let's not beat around the bush. Why isn't it automatically turning on streamer mode? I just don't know. We just don't know. But this time I caught it before it caused troubles. I gotta figure out what's going on with this because it's probably gonna give other notifications in the future. Anyway, let's get some mileage out of Iadakan's theme while we can. Because he's gonna be dead soon! So, from what I read, they add a whole other bit. And again, when this author adds stuff, it's usually not great. You might say, well, the Mia scene last time was great, right? But that was technically just the scene, it was backported earlier, you know? So, man, I got the bad heebie-jeebies. Sorry about that. Well, Olivia was proven right. Aside from a couple of underclassmen pricks just doing jutsus at me. Listen, do you know the taijutsus? Do you know the genjutsus? Do you know the ninjutsus? Because you know what you need to do. Everyone seems keen to forget. Did they seem keen? They just seem... I guess the point is, like, as far as you can tell, like, man, they sure are moving past this quickly, but... Some rotund, and I mean fucking big story, and approached me at another point, and suggests some anime with a fine selection of waifus general culture stuff would appreciate. Those aren't like generic seasonal isekai slop, so in the bin those go! I mean, you know what I really hate about when people do this? They always go with, like, someone hates their waifus, and I get it, right? Someone who hates your waifus is more likely to approach you and talk about it, but I do appreciate this guy tried. He just has shit taste! So, points for originality. Yeah, back to the status quo, I guess. Minus Mia, which really solidifies everything as a win retrospectively. Things pass quickly from here, so hit it to the... So, to hit the highlights, Olivia's been cranking out art like a monster since regaining her ability to do so. Since we had a dozen or so sketches and damn near finished pieces daily. Iadakan liked the photo of Olivia in the flower field so much that he put it up in a corkboard in his class. This is before I'm even notified. I find myself on the receiving end of a tail thrashing from in the middle of art. Art design! It's AP art design! One morning, Iadakan about pisses himself with laughter when we explain what's going on and he plays along, appending a plus to the photo with a secondary plus to stop her assault. Didn't you literally tell Anon that he should get permission from his subjects? Like, I guess that it's cute, but you should iterate that. She grumbles about it afterwards, but wraps her tail. I really don't like how much the tail wrapping happens. Like, it loses its magic when it's all you ever do, right? Like, do something else! Give him a little cheek pinch, give him a little wink wink nudge nudge, you know, something else. They're very physical in a really weird way. Like, for people that aren't friends, they are really physical. Before they even got to kissing. Apparently, she wasn't fucking joking, and she actually expects several hundred reference photos. She can go up there herself. To borrow secondary SD with the Iadakan luckily still on campus to do so, once I explain why I need it. What do you mean, luckily still on campus? Like, this requires this implies that you know he's going to die. I know that the actual point is, like, they went there after school and he came back later, but you never explained that, so the timeline gets weird. And it's like, oh, you know he's gonna die? Look, my photos aren't good the majority of the time. So while the number of references increased, the percentage of references there were even helpful was easily a single digit. Ugh. Ben is absent more often from photography, which is fine by me. It's like stealing candy from a baby, which is fine by me. What an asshole. I love that Raocow quote. It's so great. He just fucking slammed Shadow seconds later. I love baby candy. Oh, hold up. I'm gonna look it up. I have it on my quick dial because I love it so much. Hold up. I have it on quick save and I don't have the timestamp. Safi, why didn't you have the fucking timestamp here? Where is it? Where's the fucking baby candy? It's such a good fucking quote. Says Shadow, and on the true hero path, and only on the true hero path. Oh. The C where Maria gets shots of the dramatic that I remember. Oh, here it is. It's pretty early on in the episode, too.
You've got to be kidding me.
You gotta be kidding me. That's a chaos
like taking candy
emerald.
from a baby, which is fine by
Yeah,
me.
I love baby candy. It's the only kind I eat. What an asshole. Wow. Language. I'm sorry.
I just love that quote so much. It so perfectly encapsulates how stupid that scene is. I love baby candy. Who is getting these babies candy anyway? Let's enjoy ourselves while we can. Which is fine by me, not my job to harass him about apologizing to Olivia. Apparently, that... Apparently the entire student... Does that have a comma in that context? I guess if you're Apparently the entire student council, but especially the top dogs like Ben, have been pulling overtime in scrounging and planning for some winter dance coming up. Alyssa's as busy and stressed out as... I mean, she does the money stuff. She is the worst part of it. I've been going over to the... Hold up. I've been going over to the Peens' house more often after school. I guess I always assumed I'd be another mouth to feed, but they're also vocally excited when I swing by. Randy and Sophia are always quick to shoot down any self-talk of me being a hanger-on or leech. It's an adjustment, if a pleasant one. All according to Kikaku. Vinny's watching habits are now the digital lock and key from Sophia. I knew I was right to call. I don't know how to feel about this. This feels weirdly spiteful. Anon, you are the Gen Z. Remember that. I knew I was right to call on her. Randy probably would have brushed off half the dumb shit Vinny watched. He hates me for all of 3 days before I find less brain-dead content, even putting Payne's Snoot Red subscriptions, memberships now. What even is it called nowadays? Subscription to use to watch actual movies. Kids stuff for now, but it's a start. I don't think kids movies... Have you seen kids movies, man? Like, I know that everyone loves Spy Kids, ironically, but I don't think he'll get it. Olivia and I finally started watching Gundam, and holy shit. Fuck, anyone who acts like the subtle animation means it's dog shit. Shit like Demon Slayer may have orgasmic fight scenes, but it's... Is Demon Slayer the one I'm thinking of? But it's written like a bad fanfiction of JoJo's Phantom Blood. Jesus Christ, Anon, please stop it with the proper nouns. You should have done this way earlier if you were going to do this. In terms of, like, characters. Because it feels kind of... Like, I get it. It's been sort of established, but you're now dropping this many proper nouns. It just feels a little weird. But Gundam has me genuinely hooked. Olivia was right on the money. Even though she spoiled a lot, it just fucking slaps when watching it play out. She consistently works on the painting besides me the whole runtime, refusing to let me see any of it. I can tell she's taking her time, though. Painting on my sunburned ass took only an hour or two. But she spent a good 2 days just working on the sketch directly on canvas. The next several sessions of liberal priming layers here and there. It's a lot on my side as to what she's starting with. Almost a week later, Olivia begs me to come to dinner that Friday. As if I hadn't been coming over and eating the Pains' food more days than not recently. Why did you bring up the whole Anon's gotta cook stuff if you're just gonna have him come and eat dinner anyway? When I pressed her on WhatsApp, she admitted that she'd invited Iadakan to their home for dinner. That's such a weird thing that never happens, right? It is kind of strange that Iadakan has this significant distance. I get that, you know, he wants to be professional about it, but at some point, Iadakan should have at least, like, gotten somewhat invested, right? During PTA meetings, maybe? Maybe he already knows them and he doesn't care, doesn't mind too much. Great! I thought, Anon, we're already in your mind. But Olivia was a bundle of nerves, though, and kept saying how worried she was at how others, Damien and Vinny especially, would act. What if Iadakan didn't like the food? What if you saw the painting progress was disappointed, etc., etc., etc.? I, of course, shoot all the bullshit down and promise I'll be there. But why I'm key to this plan is kept from me, as if there's a reason. Apparently, Iadakan had never met the Pains, Damien excluded. A bit odd, since her grades never suffered in his class. Guess he'd never need to meet her guardian. So, on a chilly Friday night, I find myself sitting beside Olivia as we finish Gundam. Well, I finish Gundam. She's too busy whimpering and groaning at every little brush stroke she makes. You sound like a cat. Shut up! I do not! I'm sure it's fine, Olivia. You know he'll love whatever you make. He responds in a little low one. It's cute how worried you are, but you don't... I have to disagree, Anon. I have to disagree. Iadakan's motivations are entirely that Olivia gives it her all. He will, in fact, tell her to fuck off if she tries to pull some bullshit. You don't know that. I lean forward conspiratorially. How the fuck do you do that? With her angling calves the way as I do. I could always shut you up with my lips. I said like a Casanova, my chest is bumping like a nightclub dance floor. How often have you kissed since? It teaches here, sweetie. Sophia's voice calls out and both jump back from whatever meant to happen. Damn it. Well, it's my fault for trying it the worst time. Olivia and I sheepishly exit her room and see Sophia waiting at the door. She opens it and greets pale terror at the door. Oh, Mr. Iadakan, it's so nice to finally meet you. Sophia Payne. Iadakan seems to have forgone his usual formal vest and tie from his outfit, and holds a bottle of something or another under his arm. A pleasure to meet you, ma'am. Now, if it's all the same, feel free to call me Trent. With how much he's spoken of you, it's almost like we've already met. Sophia places a hand on her face.
Oh, likewise. It's a wonder it's taken so long to meet a favorite teacher.
The two saurians at the door look at Olivia and shifts uncomfortably at my side with all the attention. I'm Mr. Iadakan. Glad you could come. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Oh, and Mrs. Payne.
Sophia. Sophia, dear.
Oh, yes, of course then. Sophia, I brought her white wine. My wife's side... wasn't it? I always got the impression his wife was already dead for some reason. My wife's side, dear. Even if she were invited, she's too busy with work of her own and thought it was rude of me to come empty-handed. She is one with a mind for social events, you see. I'm afraid I'm clueless.
Oh, you didn't have to, but thank you so much. I'll be sure to chill it later.
Can they even drink wine if they're carnivorous? Because most alcohol is like plant matter. Which is why one of the gags I had for like the Shalonians, be they aliens or from the same planet, part of it is like they're birds and they have a vulture-like stomach resistance to the point that they literally drink fermented meat that would poison anyone else. And it's not supposed to be like, oh, they're so cool, they can drink. It's everyone thinks that shit is disgusting, and the carnivores are like, I can see why you would like this. But it's a little spicy, my man. Jesus. And it's spicy because they eat meat, and meat doesn't have the spicy capsaicin. So they're not used to something that has an actual huge amount of bite to it, which is kind of cute. It would have been a cute little moment. Would have specifically been with Jacob, whose entire goal is just fucking with people the whole damn time. Because I feel for Jacob, right? This guy's a bodyguard. He's assigned to protect someone that he knows isn't in any real danger and can handle herself if anything does happen. And he's mostly there for a ceremonial part, and he's just like, you know what? I'm just going to fuck with everyone I can. I'm going to bring over my disgusting fermented meat juice. The corpse juice. Just so I have something to talk about. Oh. He's also not afraid about Googling everything, so he sounds like an expert to a lot of people, and really, he's just Googling shit while he's standing there. Getting the internet stuck in your brain has advantages. Especially if you're an asshole, but... Originally, the part was also that Affinia calls him out and says, like, dude, cut it the fuck down. This is not how people work. Don't do this. It comes across as a jerk. Anyway, where were we?
Oh, you didn't have... Okay, my husband Randy is making dinner as we speak. It shouldn't be much longer if you'd like the rest in the living room. I hope you like steak.
I know it's good. My wife isn't here, else we all go hungry. It's just a joke between the two of us. Between all of us. Sophia offers to take his jacket too, but he insists that he's a little more cold-blooded than the average saurian and would prefer to keep it. I would still prefer it. He takes a seat on the couch and I follow his lead, though sit a ways away to be able to face him as we speak. Yeah, because he has such a giant fucking beak. Olivia rolls her chair closer as well. Olivia, Anon, you seem particularly happy of late, especially given recent events. If you don't mind me saying, though, I didn't expect to see you here tonight, Anon. Well, Olivia only let me know about a day ago, but I've been spending a lot of time here anyway. I see. And that's a recent development, Olivia? Yeah. Well, anything owing to this development, Anon? His smugness radiating off him is strong. For a moment, I see the groom in his place. Oh, yeah, just normal friendship stuff. Come on, do I have to say it? Say what, Anon? I'm not sure what you mean. But it looks like the man is gonna have to step up here. Shut up. You are not a man. I will concede that Anon is a man in ending 3 and in ending 4, but before the endings, Anon is not a man. He cannot punch. That is a reference to Ninkara's joke of, I am a man! And he punches. It's nothing to do with the male ability to punch. Olivia, go on. Tell him the news. Oh god, that's such a good fucking turnaround. Oh, that's such a good fucking turnaround! That's actually funny. Like, this is what I would like to see, is when characters start taking the piss out of themselves. When they're willing to admit they have a slight fault and roll with it. Anon's lack of character flaw has been so obnoxious. It's like, my man, can you make a mistake for 5 seconds? She sputters over her words for a second, delivering me a death glare while she does. Finally, she takes a moment to breathe. Iadakan, we Anon are together. Olivia looks at me as if desperately seeking confirmation. I vehemently, it's just like a fucking schoolgirl. Yeah! In return, and she looks back at Iadakan with a beaming smile. For a second, I'm worried that Iadakan's deepening smirk will threaten to tear his beak from the pressure, but it doesn't. Instead, his expression lessens in intensity. His smile is faint now, conveys an odd certitude with a far look in his eye. About damn time. Excuse me? Excuse me, princess! He He lets out a wheezing laugh of clinging. Oh, please, you two. But then suddenly I push you together, and how you got on so brilliantly wasn't out of my expectation. Well, no. To be fair, I was concerned that you two wouldn't get together before I was long gone. Iadakan, don't say that! Iadakan knows he's about to die. I appreciate the subtle dig. Also, isn't it kind of fun that, like, no one actually... Like, say what you want, but does Naomi do more... Like, I guess the... Like, Iadakan technically acts without either party's permission. Olivia isn't waiting on this, and Inko is kind of a big weirdo about it. And, like, is it that much different? I guess the nuances, you could probably dig it apart, but I'm not going to do that right now. But, like, no one gives Iadakan shit for it. No one ever asks, hey, isn't it kind of weird you're getting this involved with your fucking love life of your students? How did you know this would actually help Olivia with anything? Why were you betting on this Labrador Retriever to solve your problems? You're right, sorry. But really, the two of you seem the type to bottle up your feelings. Glad I was proven wrong, but did you yourself see this happening? She and I share a glance before shaking our heads. What are you, fucking children? You're so in unison. Ugh. Lovey-doveys. I'm sure as fuck wouldn't have. I'd have blown you off with a few choice slurs if you told me a year ago I'd have a girlfriend, Saurian or otherwise. Hell, I would have balked at having a friend who is a girl. I'm so proud of both of you. You've made such strides with each other's help. Olivia's hands snake around. It's stop with the hand holding and tail holding. Like, now is a good time for it, but you're just fucking diluting it. Stop pouring water in my syrup. Or syrup in my water, I guess. It's just sugar. My teeth. Now's the time for her to look down with misty eyes and turn even more horse neutral. What do you mean now is the time? Thank you, Iadakan, for everything.
A food?
Food's ready. Hope you're ready, Mr. Trent, was it? Well, aha, food's ready. Hope you're ready, Mr. Trent, was it? Randy calls out from the kitchen, poking his head out towards the living room. I mean, it's not a separate room, so, yeah, he would poke it toward more than anything. Ah, yes, Randy, right. I'll shake your hand in just a moment. Thank me. Why, I'm just a nosy pterosaur who doesn't know when to leave well enough alone. So when I see a student hurting, I certainly can't stop myself. Was the Free Student Labor part of you helping Ben and I? Benjamin. Anyway, yes, in another way I needed help from two strapping young men willing to spend a few hours without payment. I'm certain you'll find that day pays dividends sooner or later, and on patience. Patience, really hated that word. I can barely wait for a video game when I know the release date, much less something so intangible as dividends. Whatever that means. But something about Iadakan gives it some weight. I was really only joking, but the illusion prigs my interest. I won't badger him though, even if I thought it'd help. Yeah, we all make our way to the table. The Paynes' dining room is absolutely massive. I know, it nearly killed me 7 months ago, but the space is stretched thin with 7 people. Iadakan hardly seems to mind though, aside from having to dab his forward every now and then. Maybe the code was a bit more than he bargained for, but not that he's complaining. It's probably hiding how gaunt he is. Either he's like legitimately suffering some sort of fever or other symptom, or he's trying to hide how gaunt he is under the coat. Also, his wings would probably... How do you handle wings at the dining table? Well, Randy, I must say your presentation does impress. I'm certain it tastes just as good as it looks. Randy wipes some sauce from his glasses. Well, I certainly think so. Though I'm glad Liz lets us know when you are fellow carnivore. I mean, I do enjoy Liz's company, but... Randy, holy shit! It's hard to remember to grab a salad. Damien interjects, making eye contact with me. He's doing a good job of staying at the periphery. I think he gets just how much Iadakan means to Olivia. I mean, he's not in art class, so... Even though I doubt he'd care, Damien is treating him with that same reference. There's also only the impression that Iadakan was kind of like those specialist teachers. Like, he maybe teaches a subject somewhere, but like the odds that Damien is in that class is minimal. But, mostly he's electives. Meaning he was surprisingly well behaved too, and by that I mean he's completely lost in his own world, bored, look at his face, playing with the sweet. It's too fancy for him. Iadakan nods in on the unfocused boy. You young man, what's your name? I'm Mr. Iadakan. I'm sure you're bored to death of hearing. Vinny. What's on your mind there? I hardly cared for events like this when I was your age. Oh, you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get it. Sophia shoots him a chiding look, but he misses it with the gaze on his plate. Oh, try me. Okay. I was thinking about who would win if all the Power Raptors had to fight each other, and it was the only way to beat Repulsa. The kid is already expecting Iadakan. The kid is already expecting that Iadakan will be clueless and without an answer. Iadakan, however, has a deep contemplation before answering. Listen, I got a problem for you, buddy. Which Power Rangers, and are we including the Sentai series? Because, like, we have Turbo, we have the dinosaurs, we got Space Patrol, we got, like, I'm sorry to tell you, man, but if we are just talking about it, right? Because you are talking about all the Power Raptors. Does this man know about all the others that came afterwards? Oh, wait, no, I've read this wrong. Who would win if all the Power Raptors had to fight each other? That is a good question. I'm sure I could ask Linkara for that. I'm pretty sure he'd be the only fucking person to know that in the world, because he's done a full retrospective on everything. Although I think the real answer is, I don't think they could answer this question properly, because some characters exist in, like, multiple spans of time. Like, I'm pretty sure some come back for revisits and they have more experience, or they haven't used the morphing grid, and they're like, would you consider their prime? I imagine some of them have had longer stints than others. They're all technically, probably, like, all of them are connected to the morphing grid in some way, right? So they're all kind of using the same power source. Would they even have a measurable power difference, or would it just be a toss-up? Because the way I see it, like, the majority of Power Rangers are probably, like, on par. There might be an out there team, but I'm pretty sure they're all just operating under similar rules. So it's like, whoever wins, I guess. On top of that, everyone knows that the real people that would win is whoever the writer says wins. It doesn't matter. You can be as strong as you want to, but if the guy likes Batman, Batman's winning. Well, the Power Raptors would never allow it to come to pass. I mean, that's kind of the point, you know, is the writer would never force Superman to make such a decision, because that's not how Superman works. Batman would always have a way out. But, well, some would say the Red Rat would say the Red. Oh, you're just talking about all the Power Raptors, the beginning team. I wouldn't know, man. I'd have to rewatch the series, and I don't have time for that in, like, a recording this short. Well, some would say the Red Raptor. That just isn't the case. Why the fuck is he watching the OG series? Why the fuck is this syndicating? There are newer ones to watch. Well, some would say the Red Raptor. That just isn't the case. It's easily Tommy, the White Raptor, of course. Although, admittedly, he's also my favorite because he's white. Because you know... Finney's eyes light up at Iadakan's unexpected knowledge, and impossible to shut up after that. Like, there's a real thing that I actually, like, legitimately hate about a lot of people who are, like, nerds who don't seem to understand. You do know that the Power Rangers are, like, 2000s, 1990? Any kid that grew up right now is, like, a decade removed from that original series. You do know. Let me look it up for you. Let's look it up. I don't even know when it is because I have a weird skewed timeline. Living in Europe, a lot of stuff kind of floats over here, so it's all kind of weird. Let me just look up Power Rangers. Ugh, do I gotta go to the fandom wiki or whatever? The OG series. Contact the content mod. There are roles open. And an admin. Man, this is pretty big. Today's Dranger Dream Team. Ninja Miss America. Miss America! You've got me asking a hell of a lot of fucking questions. I just want to know about the... I want to look up Power Rangers Hasbro era. No, I want to look about the original. What even is the fucking original? Holy shit, that's a hell of a fucking question. Sentai approached Toei about expanding to the United States and wanted to air episodes of Super Sentai. However, Shuki Levy objected for two reasons. One, that heroes in colorful spandex would be taken seriously, and two, that it was too difficult for to show a show with all Japanese people to American children. Saban still realized the potential of an American expansion, adopted not similar to Lee. The process of doing so was not a simple dub-over, but done by splicing the original Japanese footage, primarily the combat footage from the only suits, in varying degrees of newly filmed scenes featuring primarily... Like, the big benefit of those fucking suits, right, is that you don't even see the actors. I imagine it was done in this Sentai because they could just have the stunt people do the work, and they just had to have similar bodies and all that. So which is the original era, then? Each show was produced and distributed by Saban Entertainment from 1993 to 2001. So let me put that into context for you, right? Let me just pop this one down. Mighty Morphin Season 1, which is the one we're almost certainly talking about, or Season 2, maybe, I don't fucking know. Original airing August 1993 to May 1994. There is a revision that aired in 2010. Vinny was also not alive during that period. Unless he is, at this point in time, 13. And that's plausible, but that would assume he was like a baby. So I'm just going to put this out there. He has not seen the Power Rangers. Not the original. There's just no reason for him to see that one. Right? That's the problem I have with this, is that so many people, they do this stuff, and they talk about their youth. And I'm like, motherfucker, Anon is Gen Z in this. You do know that you're not fucking Spider-Man. This is not a sliding timescale. You can say, okay, listen, if the dinosaur world time moves, then why don't you just set it in the 1990s? Why don't you just set it in the 1990s? If like just you can make the numbers the same at that. Like, why are you making it so complicated at that point? Fuck. So assuming that he's 7 years old, he would have been watching in 2016. No, wait, he would have been born in 2016. Right? Yeah, born around 2016. Which means he is 3 to 6. He would have seen Ninja Steel, Super Ninja Steel, I guess. No, he would have been around when Hasbro had already stepped in. So he would have seen Beast Morphers. And Dino Fury. Well, fuck yeah, man. Which admittedly is like hilariously on point, right? It's a hilariously on point that he would watch Dino Fury. Would they have changed it? They probably would have changed it, right? Now, unfortunately, I have to listen, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I do think Solon's design is pretty fucking cool though. I think Kurt's design is cute! I like it a lot. It's so cool. I love that the eye, it's just so nice. So my point is, Vinny does not know the original. He might, from like an artistic perspective, but the problem I have is Vinny already likes video games. He already likes hockey. He already likes Kung Fu. And I imagine he got the Kung Fu thing from Power Rangers. He might have seen the original series entirely because he wanted to. But why would he bring that one up? Because Vinny is not the kind of person to be like, oh, Iadakan probably knows the original Power Rangers because he's that kind of old. On that note, oh shit, I just remembered something. When did Iadakan die again? Hold on, his death date is registered in one of the endings. I think it's ending 3, where they go past the school again. And I think in that one you can figure out like when Iadakan was born. Fuck. 1986. So 1986, 1993. Iadakan watched the original Morphing Power Rangers at age 7. You need to understand, right, that if we're keeping the time scale the same for all intents and purposes because they have smartphones pretty reliably, and they're using fairly similar apps, Iadakan watched, like, if we're keeping everything else the same for comedy's sake, Iadakan is the generation that watched Mighty Morphin. What the hell? What is going on? I know I'm overthinking this, but you are too! Don't even pretend! Don't pretend. Don't come into my house and say that you're not. Fuck, I'm wasting far too much time on this bullshit. Anyways. Vinny's eyes light up at Iadakan's unexpected knowledge, and it's impossible to shut him up after that. Iadakan has a well of knowledge when it comes to Toku shows in general, surprising even Olivia. Why would he? Iadakan always struck me as kind of an original guy. Like, maybe he's into it because he saw it in his youth, I guess? We almost have to muzzle Vinny to stop him from talking all night, and Damien takes over as the ear for all the spazzy Power Ranger Raptors. Now, the big problem that I have, right? The big problem that I have, listen, I can perfectly understand that Vinny is really into Power Raptors, and he just watches the whole fucking series. He's seen it all, okay? I'm willing to accept that. I want to go there. We never get the impression that Vinny is a nerd. We never get the impression that he's the kind of kid that would collect and be a snooty, pedantic hipster about his tastes, right? He watches Mr. Beast. He watches YouTube videos instead of movies. I don't think he'd be the snooty type to insist that morphing the first season or the second or whatever is like the OG real deal. I don't think he's that kind of kid yet. He might get there, but not at age 7. Not before he's 14 and he has to prove himself in the arena. All I'm saying. It's all I'm saying, okay? I'm very pedantic about this. Oh yeah, Damien intercepts. What a good guy, Damien. Conversation flows this way, and that as we all eat our steaks. As expected and forecasted by Iadakan, the steaks are immaculate. Though they taste a bit more blue-red than I normally like. Oh yeah, I read about this, right? Doneness. I remember seeing bleu, which is extra rare. Oh shit. Is it spelled like that? No, it's spelled, yeah, it's spelled with an EU. Though they're a bit more bleu rare than I'd normally like. Still good seasoning and a good sear. I might have a stomach flu after this, but whatever. I can't help but notice how reserved and ladylike Olivia is eating hers, which I nudge her about. She frowns in embarrassment, clearly having wanted to be dignified for Iadakan. I hardly think he'd care, but it's cute that she's holding back like she is. When it comes to Iadakan's wife, he positively gushes over her. Okay, I think we're just gonna skip over this. It's not, like, I understand this is technically new content, but, like, you are characterizing a guy who's about to die, and I'm gonna put my little paws, right? My little bappy hands, I'm gonna put them on the table. First off, again, because I'm like that, Solon with Smooch. If you're making the fucking wiki and you're putting a neat section together, include with Smooch section, Solon, slap. Take a big sticker, slap. Right on there. With Smooch. There you go. What was I gonna say again? As much as this is cute, this is boring as all hell, and he's about to die. And I've said before, and I'm going to say it again. Maybe I've never said it before, actually, but I'm going to say it now. Don't give a person characterization if you're going to have them be like, I'm one day from retirement. Ho, ho, ho. You put this scene earlier. I know that it's hard to do that because the characterization works the way it does. That's why Iadakan dies, by the way, so that they can't have this, so that they can, like, it's like the author doesn't understand that's why it happens. I'm not saying this, it's especially bad. This is not as egregious as the whole painting, chopping scene. That's worse. This is still kind of like you're trying to have your cake and eat it too. And that's bad because that's counter to what the actual story is about. And at that point, you might as well keep him alive. You know? Like, you've already ruined the reason that killing him mattered. So, I don't know what you think you're doing, man, but, like, come on. Get your dick out of your pants. Sorry, no, the other... Fuck me, I guess. Anyway, let's move on. So we're just going to skip through this. We're going to put on the little fast forward button. Oh, we're going to give her a name now, too. I will say that between Punch Drunk and this, I guess the wife is alive. I mean, to be honest, it works better. She runs a number of foundations. I always got the impression that Iadakan wasn't doing that well financially. Like that other guy speculates. Like, there's no reason to assume that Iadakan is especially wealthy. I mean, he complains about his salary and everything. Oh, that's cute though. Rubbing elbow with backers. Gotta get all those patrons. I have no Patreons. A man can dream one day or another. What the hell? Oh well. Alright. I'm gonna get my art degree, online, but it's a first step. There's no hesitation in her voice. I never had a doubt. Get again to the same conclusion. What the hell is a dividend? You're too young to know what a dividend is. Don't worry about it. It's what you get paid for owning certain stocks. Probably would have chosen it with that experience, cool as it was. Like, I want to say, I feel like killing Iadakan might have been the wrong move. Because you're already letting Olivia get what she can't have by Iadakan's death. And again, don't fucking kill your characters unless it's the only possible way to do what you're trying to do. Because death is so fucking tacky to put in a story. I'm not going to explain why, but it has to do with you as the author have full control. It's tacky and it's cheap because of how severe and permanent it is. It's like, don't do it unless you have to. Your plot will survive it. I feel like it would be cuter if Iadakan lived and got to teach Anne on the ropes and be like, listen, Anne, I'm going to teach you how to be an artisty boy. All I'm saying. Little Ace as an artist. Uncle Randy. Oh, she says Uncle Randy! Never didn't quite like your goddaughter. I don't know if I like this, though. I feel like Iadakan being a bit more mysterious and closed-mouthed about what he really feels. You get the sense that in private, he's like that, but he's got a professional and everything. Like, now he's just slamming other students. I understand why, but come on, man. It's like Olivia already gets so much. Glazing her over, too? Come on. Ease up. Ease up, man. The gas and the glaze, a little too much. Why did he stop, though? Like, I do wonder, which came first, the cancer or the teaching job? Because that's a very interesting question that would say a lot about his character. And a smart writer would realize that, but don't worry, we're not going to find those on a fanfic website about the nature of being alive and the decisions we make as the result of the consequence of our... You know what I mean? I feel like anyone who actually has no idea what to write can just listen to me for like an hour, and it's like, I got so many ideas from this asshole talking his mouth. Don't worry, I won't write any of them. You'll never bump into me. Tied so farther below the table. God, how fucking old are you? Isn't half the point of the story that Olivia gains some fucking spine, and here she is just slowly sinking away in literally a few months' time, or like a month or so. Iadakan is dead. She's gonna put on a show. Inko's gonna take pictures, and she's gonna fall downstairs and die. And here she is being a fucking baby. Ugh. You know that guy who was analyzing like Olivia's walking on her legs like a baby. This is kind of the same. It's like I get it. She's cute. She's adorable, but you're going too far between like the wrist wrapping and stuff. It's not even like gushy fluffy. It's just like you're infantilizing her. She does not have the rigor to survive a social situation, which kind of works, but your gestures are a bit too significant. They're a bit too severe. It's like Vinny is somehow more mature than her in a weird way, which is just really bad. The whole monologue felt perfect. Again, I feel like, listen, you know what? You want to know what I want to go with? Since killing Iadakan at this point is tacky, and it is tacky, I don't care what you say. If you're going to give Olivia this much, which again, all of what we're doing right now is like the reason Iadakan dies is because she can't have this. It is about the severity of death and the permanence thereof. Problem is, the story isn't actually about that, so Wani technically still is kind of tacky for doing it. Because while Iadakan's death is instrumental to a lot of what happens, the permanence part doesn't land quite as clean as it could, but that's because the story is more about the dating and the character growth and like the whole... It's a whole secondary plot element that doesn't really fit in quite easily. Unless they focused a little more on like, oh, you had all this time in school and you could have done more, but she did technically, so it's like, it doesn't quite work. But, if you're going to do this, what makes more sense is you have Iadakan show up in the hospital, and he's alive, and he's fine, and he wants to teach Anon later, but it forces them to realize that they don't have that time, and that they were fucking around, and an emergency surgery saves his life, and he doesn't have cancer, or something stupid like that, because people beating cancer is an uplifting message you might want to set down sometimes, because, listen, I know people who have been under the knife in some experimental-ass surgeries to save their lives, and, like, that shit eats away at you, and all I can say is, you can go with that. You can have the impact of death just without the long ramifications. For someone like Olivia, him being away from school is bad enough. Him being in a hospital, unsure if he'll ever recover, is bad enough. And then you can have him recover it then, because you're already going for ending 4, right? So you might as well just fucking go ham. The only reason they didn't kill Olivia in ending 1 is because, you know, tacky. Because killing characters is tacky. I'm going to keep saying it. It's tacky. It's cheap. It's too easy. Or, as a wise man once said, there are fates worse than death, and if the best you can imagine to torment a character is to kill them, you're a loser. All right. The whole monologue felt perfect. Well, thank you, Anon. I did my best. I did my best.